We're going to remove this timber, cut 100mm off the end of the timber, and we're going to measure out basically with a tape. We're going to measure in to 100mm. Okay, now you might think, well, okay, I can pick up the saw and start sawing, and somewhere here I will be at 90 degrees to the edge of the timber. Even a qualified carpenter wouldn't consider doing that because you will not get the angle right. So using carpenter's square on the edge of the timber, we are marking across, and also importantly we need to mark the ends of the timber, because if you can't see the line you're going to saw, you won't be able to saw accurately to it. One key tip always when sawing is to have your index finger pointing along the blade. Okay, if you only grip the saw, and you see many people gripping the saw in a clenched fist, as you're sawing the saw can move and you'll end up with a very untidy line and not a straight cut. When you put your index finger there, it keeps you in line through your wrist, your elbow and your shoulder, and you stand a good chance of sawing an accurate line. Okay, now with any saw like this, you start off by pulling the saw back 2 or 3 times so that you've got it on the start of the line and it cuts going forward. So it's the shoulder action going forward will give you a good cut. So I'm using the side of my thumb against the side of the blade just to get a start position. Okay, keep your finger above the teeth, not below the teeth, because they're sharp and they'll cut you. And all we're going to do is pull the saw back 2 or 3 times to give us a start point. We can now proceed with sawing the complete width of timber. Blow off any sawdust so you can see the line, and now we're going to start cutting. Keeping an eye on the line, and the pencil line should be visible after you've finished sawing. If you've sawn through the line, you've gone underneath your measurement. So after you've sawn any piece of wood, your pencil line should still be visible, and here you can see less than half a millimetre, even the 1/4 millimetre, our line is there, and the piece of wood we have cut is cut square, and also in this direction we have cut it at 90 degrees in both directions. So you can see here we've got a straight cut there and straight cut there. So just to summarise what we've covered in this short video, when you're marking the timber out, before you even think about using the saw, measure round with the pencil both edges and the top. Okay, so you'll then mark the line across using your carpenter's square. Alright, and don't forget that the top side will end up with a neater cut, the underside will end up slightly torn as the blade goes through. So if your good side is the deep channeled side, saw and mark out on that side. If you want the slightly ribbed side, as we did, have that on the top, and then you can just brush that off afterwards. When holding the saw, always clench fist, index finger, that'll help keep it in a straight line as you're sawing. When you start the saw off, hold the edge of the blade against the edge of your nail, well away from the teeth, pull back 2 or 3 times, and then follow through in straight lines from your index finger, your wrist, your elbow and your shoulder, and you'll end up with a neat line. And after you've cut through, your pencil line should still be visible. If it's not, you've cut into the material rather than on the waste. The right hand side is the waste piece of material, the left hand side is what you want to be accurately cut. So the waste is this side, your pencil line should be visible on this side, and it wouldn't matter if you were left or right handed, the same rule applies.